Hello everyone, this is Christina from Ontology. Welcome to Ontology Consensus Distributed Tech Day. We are very delighted to have our Senior Tech Lead Ning and our Senior Tech Lead Edmond to join us and share about the state-of-the-art technology for Ontology. Ning and Edmond, would you like to say hi to everyone?
Hi everyone, this is Ning. And that's it. Nice to see you again.
I think we are having a small issue with connecting Edmond. He will we'll try again later. Ning, would you like to start the introduction of ontology technology today?
Okay, sure. So today I'm going to introduce more about ontology technology achievements and as well as a branch of tech tools to develop with ontology. So let's begin. First of all, what is ontology? So again, ontology is a high-performance public blockchain, and also it is targeted to set up distributed collaboration. So first one, why we are trying to use blockchain as an infrastructure to provide service for the collaborate, because we just use decentralized blockchain. We are trying to use we just use blockchain to set up a certain kind of decentralized network. In this case, all nodes just compete with each other, and hopefully, with this technology, we can create a trust infrastructure for old applications upon it. So what is the benefit for ontology blockchain? The first one, we have high performance of the network. We can handle more than 5,000 transactions per second. And then we are trying to use a balancing fault tolerance with verifiable functions. So VBFT, which is the verifiable randomness. So the VBFT consensus is among the fastest consensus mechanism to confirm a transaction. And then also with a certain kind of the public chain scalability of the network. And then we provide a stable and persistent for all of our applications upon it. So which is more about decentralized applications. And then we also provide a branch of virtual machine and also as well as the virtual machine compilers. So for developers trying to use our blockchain technology to develop their own smart contract, they are able to use Python, Java, JS, Golang, and C++, and also the Rust. And still we are keep in the innovation upon the blockchain technology. For now, we have already launched our Wasm VM, and in Q1 we have the Wasm Jet, the just-in-time of Wasm VM. So for some test cases, we just think it is among the fastest Wasm VMs for now used in blockchain. And also we have already have the cross-chain functions ready to use in our mainnet. And also the scalability of the consensus, as I mentioned before, it can support a large number of nodes. And now I will just go a little bit deep into the technology itself. So we are using BFT as our consensus. So the consensus is based on the balancing fault tolerance, but it also uses the VRF. So for each consensus, that take place to generate each block. Only a part of their nodes inside the big network is chosen, and then this can wrap it up for the performance. So this can also works for both public chain, consortium chain, and private chain. So for now, during our test, it is up to more than 5,000 TPS. And the confirmation time, because we are using BFT, the finality is within 1 block. And for now, the number of consensus nodes, it can up to 1,000. So next one is about our smart contract virtual machine. So in this slide, I will just focus on the WASM-JIT. So here we have just create an easy easy list which is can compare the WASM-JIT of ontology to others. So for WASM VM, there are 2 different running mode. The first one, we can call it the interpreter, and the second one is JIT, just in time. So ontology have already implemented most of them. For the interpreter execution, WASM VM, ontology have already launched them in last year. And in Q1, we have just launched the JIT, so which is have tens of times faster than the interpreter execution mode. And then for the network scalability, because we are using VBFT mechanism, in this case, we create an easy diagram to show the consensus network scalable for the as a simulation network. So when the 40 ratio is less than 1 times a branch of tens point, I think there altogether there's 0.701, and the number of nodes need to be participated in the consensus. It's limited within 200 nodes. And for now, in Q2, we have just launched our simple layer 2, which is called the Buckyball. So we create the layer 2 node for end users. They can easy to use deposit and withdraw with the layer 2 contract, along with the operator and the layer 2 network. So we create our own state root based on the layer 2 technology. And also, Ontology have worked on cross-chain technology for over 2 years. So for now, we are able to support both homogeneous and heterogeneous cross-chain technology. So the deploying of 2 smart contracts is can be support to cross-chain functions for certain kind of chains. And if those chains that did not support smart contracts, they need to create 2 modules, just like the cross-chain manager contract did, and also the header think contract did. And for now, we have already worked with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Neo, and Ontology, and also the Cosmos is trying to is available in a short period of time. And the way how to set up finally with the trusted infrastructure based with the blockchain based technology, we are trying to set up a collaboration platform, use the above technology. So from the multi-centralized trust infrastructure layer, we are trying to set up the chain, cross-chain technology. And then we create another kind of decentralized, but in this case, it is better to use the term disintermediation. So the disintermediation trust layer is, we are trying to use decentralized identifier protocol, which is approved by W3C, which is the World Wide Web Consortium, try to set up this intermediation trust from peer-to-peer. And upon that, we are able to create trust applications. And in this case, especially for cross systems, we are trying to provide the trust data interoperability across different applications. Also, if that's possible, there's need to be an open protocol to support the regulation, auditing, or in some cases, the governance control and supervisory support, etc. And we can dig into a little bit of the tool and the products and services we provide for the application users. The first one is about smart contract. So we have created the multifunctional, high performance and expandable smart contract for different virtual machines. The first one is NeoVM. When Ontology launched its mainnet from the very beginning, it just used a NeoVM. But for now, we also support a Wasm VM at the same time. And it is up to the end user or the developer to choose which one to use. Maybe for lightweight, for public chain, they can use NeoVM. And if they just want to use for some complex transactions, maybe they can use Wasm VM. So for now, we have multiple compiler to support both NeoVM and Wasm VM. For NeoVM, the Python compiler is most popular, and also C# it is support as well. For Wasm VM, it just used the Rust or C++. And also there's a branch of third-party compilers in Wasm VM and also NeoVMs like Java, like some other computing language. They can easily to migrate with NeoVM and also Wasm VM. And upon that, actually, we just apply for the native contract, the NeoVM contract, and also the Wasm VM contract. Sorry, there's a typo here. But anyway, the idea is the contract can be called internally from any kind of smart contract. For native contract, most of them they just written by Golang, and the gas fee is calculated in a certain price. And also to use the native contract, the NeoVM contract, and also Wasm VM contract, any kind of applications, especially the DApps, can be supported. Just like data exchange, the ownership management, and the decentralized identifier, and also the oracles. And Ontology have already set up a series of protocols to support the application scenarios. And for the smart contract development, there is we have our SmartX, which is one-stop IDE that can use to develop if you are using NeoVM, or you can still use traditional C++ or Rust IDEs offline to develop Wasm VM smart contract. And then you can use SmartX to deploy and try to invoke some of the function calls in smart contracts. And then it is about decentralized application developer services. So we have our dev service called the Punica suite. So which is a branch of useful dApps that any developers can use. And based on it, they can create their own dApps. And the last one is, for now, most blockchain as an infrastructure that need to provide is the digital asset services. So we have mostly, it is about a token. So there is a branch of like a standard token, which is OEP4, it's fungible tokens, and OEP5, the non-fungible tokens. And also the OEP8, it is a crypto item standard. And also there is OEP 506, which is for the security token offerings. And then upon the blockchain infrastructure, we are trying to create the real collaboration platform. So there is ONT ID, DDXF, and ONT2. I will go a little bit deep into it with the technical part. So I've already shared the ONT ID, I think, in the first session. And for now, just as a recap, the ONT ID is trying to provide a disintermediation for interaction between different entities. So the entities could be human beings, could be data, could be smart devices. And then with the ONT ID, we can provide the claim to prove the capability of the entity. And also for now, as the standardization of W3C, the claim is not only an asset, but we need to consider about its presentation. So we can just call it credential. And based on the credential claim and the ONT ID series, we are able to provide real business with on-chain. It is called token exchange, but off-chain, we can manage the data because it uses the technology of tokenization. So we combine the tokenization and the assetization together, and we create the token. Maybe we can say it is data token, certain kind of right and with value. And then we have DDXF. So the DDXF is more like a decentralized data exchange framework based on ONT ID. So ONT ID can be treated as a static modeling to serve DDXF, while DDXF is trying to create the runtime to make full use of the data entities and also the smart devices. This is a diagram. For example, any kind of off-chain but online technologies, systems like IT system, information system, IoT systems, the Internet of Things, and also for now, the web systems. It is mostly about certain kind of entities. They can do certain kind of business of the data processing and amendment. They can create data, update data, and with certain kind of rights. So we have the DID, ONT ID technology to map, to create an identifier, decentralized identifier from off-chain to on-chain. And then based on the right to operate on certain kind of data, we have the data token. So the data token can be put to on-chain and treated as non-fungible token or fungible token, or even mostly the semi-fungible token. So whenever any kind of on-chain identity want to use on-chain data token, they can use the on-chain data token to access off-chain data, or maybe update or do certain kind of data manipulation. And in this case, blockchain provides its immutable and the access control from on-chain. And maybe the next one is the vision of DDXF. So this could be the next phase. For now, Ontology have already finished the left side of the technology of DDXF. So, which is mainly about we are able to have a serial of protocols and implementations and also OEPs to create identities and mapped identities from on-chain identifier to off-chain entities. Could be users, could be devices, and also could be data. And then we use the D-token protocols to map off-chain data privilege or data right to token, to off-chain, just like JWT, the JSON Web Token, or other token technology, and map them to on-chain. And on-chain, we just call it data token. So we can use blockchain to provide traceability and also the token exchange, token transferring, just like non-fungible token or semi-fungible token, or even for now it's some kind of string. And in this case, everything turns to token with on-chain, but we also provide off-chain to how to map off-chain tokenization to on-chain assets, token assets. And then we are trying to pay more attention to the right side to take care about the data interoperability. So we may figure out some kind of ways to provide trust for traditional web apps or IoT webs, or for IoT systems, or maybe smart city and communities. So we are making close study of like interoperable object abstractions, like syntactic mediations, and also semantic mediations for now in mostly different systems, cross systems. But we are trying to provide the trust data interoperability hubs to support the traditional IT system data interoperability. So this is the next phase. We hopefully, Ontology can provide the self-sovereign identity, but also to serve, for now, at least the traditional business, and to add value upon that. Hopefully, we can pay more attention on the data themselves. And because the data or the data, certain kind of data token to have cost something. So we can make new value upon the data processing and the data management. And hopefully this can bring new value. So I think why we are trying to create DDXF is why we are trying to serve better the data ecosystems. And in this case, Ontology can put something, move forward to face the traditional applications and systems. And so I think that's the end of my share.
Great. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at the questions we got for you. The first one is, what are the biggest milestones that your team want to achieve?
For the past, we have achieved many milestones. We have our sharding launched, our testnet. We have cross-chain launched our testnet, and for now we have the heterogeneous cross-chain launched in the testnet. But because there is no real business that required the sharding, so they did not go to the mainnet. So I think and then we just think back, take one step back to think what is the real requirement for our platform, and we need to find them. So we try to focus our vision about the platform. It's more about it is more about the data. So the data, whenever we are talking about the information technology, the IT solutions, it's more about information, but essentially they are just data. So we just pay more attention about the data. Then as a trust infrastructure, we can provide a branch of business. And because whenever we are talking about the decentralized identity, especially the disintermediation scenarios, we are trying to, like all other projects with DID solutions, we are trying to provide so-called the self-sovereign scenarios. And we try to find a way to get the value of the self-sovereign data. And then we have got our D token technology. And then in this case, we can use the DID and the D token and the DDXF, which to use the on-chain D token to manage like the off-chain operating tokens, access tokens. We combine them together. It is able to use the data across different systems. And in this case, we hope the next milestone, we can make the real business for the self-sovereign data and also the data market.
Great. There's a lot of exciting things ongoing and looking forward to. The next question is, when it comes to technology, Ontology probably one of the best. The question is, what's the advantages of the Ontology's technology, like the uniqueness? Hole, are you there?
Yeah. Could you repeat your question?
Yes, what's the advantages or uniqueness about Ontology technology? Why should developers develop on Ontology platform?
Yeah, Ontology is, as Ning has said, it's not just a blockchain, not just a public blockchain. It's also one collaboration platform. So it has the DID and the data exchange framework. So all this helps the enterprise or the community to use blockchain technology. It's not just smart contract. It's mainly for the collaboration platform. That's very attractive for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. And in that case, do you have any incentive for developers, incentive plans?
Yeah, I think we have the some bounty program. The website, a new version of website is under development, and I think we have a new plan for the bounty program, and more open to everyone can create its bounty and to raise question to foundation, and foundation may pay for those ideas and plan for the feature required from community.
That's great. Ning, do you have anything to add? No? Okay.
No.
Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Do you provide any online course or documentation center for developers to learn about ontology technology? How can I have a try to deploy smart contract on your network? How does that work?
Yeah. So first we have one developer center, and we have some Discord channel. Our core developers are online every day and answer questions there. And there are also some online courses in Stepic. There's lots of learners and the GitHub channel and wiki, Discord, and there's some Facebook page. We have one university workshop last year, and we'll continue on those workshops online this year. Yeah, in the developer center, there are some videos for the the app development and also how to use all our tools for smart contract development and the app development. There are also some bounty program for the ontology blockchain development. Yeah, I think all are open to the community.
Mm-hmm. There seems to be many ways for developers to learn how to develop on the ontology platform.
Yeah, and about how to try to deploy the smart contract, I think there is one testnet. It's there's one web page you can have some free gas from that page, and it will send you some free gas, and you will try it on ontology testnet for your testing, for your try to develop any app.
Cool. Developers can have access to our documentation center by visiting develop.ont.io. You will find all the useful information and tutorials there. Let's move on to the next question. What are the application scenarios for ONT ID and DDXF, like in real life businesses?
Okay, let me try to answer this question. So for the real application of scenario, we can just divide it into two different parts. The first one is to compare with the traditional web apps, and second one is just to compare with, for now, most blockchain projects. So ONT ID is mostly, we can say, is an on-chain identifier, which is provides the disintermediation for from peer-to-peer, and also cross platforms. Ontology is trying to have ONT ID support for many blockchain projects. I'm sorry, just like Celo, and also we Ontology have our own the mobile client called ONT2. So as an entrance application, anyone can apply for their own ONT ID and feel free to combine with different wallet addresses. And also just like Celo, for now they are using like phones, they can combine them together and they can access each other with ONT ID. And for traditional web apps, we can also create just like attestation solutions. Just like we can provide ONT ID based trust endorsement for attestations for a branch of business partners. Like for now, the OGQ. They can create their own ONT ID based attestation service, and we can provide verifiable claim and also as attestation service provider for them to create their trust endorsement for their own digital assets. Or maybe off-chain digital assets.
Okay, thank you for your answer. The next question is, what's the top technical priority right now for your tech team?
Still divided into two different parts. The first one is still the blockchain. So we are paying more attention for the decentralized network. For the past 2 years, the ontology node application program, they need to any of the candidates they just want to assign as ontology node, they need to register. But later on in our design, we are trying to give more free for the node application. So anyone with their wallets, they have enough ONT for staking, they can apply for the node freely. And maybe we can provide the maintenance service for them to run a real node. They just any candidates, they just want to become an ontology node, they can feel free to join. And also there's the P2P network. We can try to provide more services based on the P2P, the scalability of the network as from the P2P network level. And upon that, another side is the application or maybe the business suite. We are trying to provide easy SDKs and documentation and videos and a branch of useful tools for real application developers. Maybe they are not familiar with blockchain, but they can use a branch of SDKs to create their own application, but move some of their business to on-chain on their own business requirements.
Edmond, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think Ning has given a good answer to this question.
Okay, great. We have one last question. Since Ontology 2.0 was launched earlier this year, what's the status of Ontology 2.0? Will there be any mainnet upgrade plans in the near future?
Ontology 2.0 is a milestone for ontology. So maybe still for this question, I need to divide it into two different parts. So about the mainnet upgrade, it is continuous work. So any kind of new features that can be added to ontology, we can have a mainnet update, like P2P update, like WASM update. But for Ontology 2.0, we are, after 2 years of practice on the real business upon the blockchain, especially on the ontology, we just think we will focus on the data business. So Ontology 2.0 do have like OntFS, like WASM Jet, like the P2P network enhancement, and also we are thinking about layer 2, and we already finished the simple layer 2 solution, and which is target to launch in Q2, and hopefully we can have mainnet ready for test, and also the testnet is ready for now. Mainnet is targeting to be launched for, I think, for this month.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For all community members, you can stay tuned with us on our social media channels for any major upgrades or updates for our technology. Okay, I think that wraps up today's Q&A session. If you have any further questions, please contact us Twitter, Medium, Telegram, or any other social media channels that is available for Ontology. Thank you very much for joining us today. We look forward to see you in our next session, which will be focused about enterprise solutions. Thank you, Ning and Edmond.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.